Hello everyone, I'm Aaron, a birding naturalist. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about tires in the environment. Why tires? So glad you asked. Unfortunately, when tires wear down, people tend to dispose of them in some unfortunate ways. And one of those is to simply dump them. And this causes a bunch of problems from a bunch of different levels. One is, there are a lot of chemicals that make up tire. Something like 400 different chemicals or more go into making a single tire. And those chemicals get released into the environment. Certainly, some of them get released from what is called from the form of tire wear particles, which is what happens when, during normal use, a tire grinds against the pavement or asphalt on a road. Tire moves, friction is generated between the tire and the road, and some little bits of tire come off, little small particulates. Also, obviously, in a situation like this, when lots of tires, and there are tires all around me, there are probably 40 or 50 tires just in this pile. These tires are sitting here in this natural area, degrading into the environment. So the tire particulate wear and little bits of tire as this degrades can be a serious source of pollution to air, water, and soil. Of those 400 different chemicals, several are known to be carcinogenic, and many of them just haven't been studied that carefully. One that has been studied recently and found to have some pretty unfortunate side effects is something called 6-PPD. It's added to tires to help prevent them from cracking, which is a good function. But unfortunately, when 6-PPD combines with ozone, which, by the way, is a common portion of car exhaust, it then transforms into 6-PPDQ. And 6-PPDQ has been found to have significant health effects, like mortality effects. It kills salmon when it gets into the water. This has been ongoing research. This was first sort of discovered in, I think, around 2001 or 2021. And the effects of 6-PPDQ have been continuing to be investigated and continuing to be bad. It's quite toxic to salmon. Coho salmon in particular is what's been examined. To the point where now, for example, in the state of California, the California Environmental Protection Agency, Cal EPA, has told tire manufacturers that they have to look into 6-PPD and find a different chemical to add to tires to prevent them from cracking and not use 6-PPD. And that recommendation for what their new substitute chemical is supposed to be is supposed to come out this year. So there is a deadline on this. 2024 is when tire companies are supposed to make their proposals for how they're going to stop using 6-PPD and what else they're going to use instead. That's fantastic, but it is a little bit daunting because of those 400 chemicals, and that's just one, right? It took years of investigation to figure out that that is a problem chemical. Then more time for government agencies to get involved and to give tire companies some kind of timeline to fix it. And then more time for those tire companies to then work on it and fix it, hopefully. And certainly there is no guarantee that's even going to work. So one chemical amongst the 400 that are in a tire, many of which might be toxic as well. It's a lot of problem, and it's a huge problem because there are a lot of tires. Something like 2 billion tires are sold every year, and that number is only going up. So it poses a really, really big problem to both fix tires so they're not wearing down on the road and releasing toxic chemicals, and also so that if a tire gets dumped like this, it's not degrading into the environment and releasing those toxic chemicals. Now, what can we do? Unfortunately, there is no sort of one-size-fits-all answer. Different states have different ways of handling tires. Different counties have different ways. Different cities have different ways. So there's a lot of variation in how to handle a tire like this, depending on where you live. But one thing that you can do is call your city or your county and find your local recycling center. Because most tires can be recycled in some way. And most tire recycling places at least have some indication, some recommendations on how to handle them. You can get some instructions on what is right to do with a tire that you have found in your specific location. Some places have sort of good neighbor policies where if you bring a certain number of tires in each month, they'll just allow you to take them in for free. Some of them have fees, but they're small, $2, 50 cents even per tire. And you can go and recycle them as just a kindly act. So different places have different ways of handling them, but you can definitely look into it. Find your local recycling or material waste department, call them up, ask them how to handle disposed, discarded waste tires, and you figure out kind of how to start helping the situation. Also, one thing that you can certainly do is make sure that when your tires wear out, you dispose of them properly yourself. Most places that sell tires will also take the old ones. So the easiest thing to do is probably when you buy new tires, just leave the old ones where they are. Leave the old ones at that place, and they'll take care of them. That's fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that learning about 6-PPD and its derivative, 6-PPDQ, was interesting, and also that you're inspired a little bit, that it tells a good story of how, yes, it takes time. And yes, it's only one chemical at a time. But these can be tackled. This information can be gleaned. Actions can be taken to remedy the situation and to help get this very toxic chemical out of the tire manufacturing process and therefore out of the process of degrading into the environment after they're in tires. So thank you for the view. Until next time, enjoy the natural world.